Welcome back to SEWCT. I'm Chef T, your host, and today we are talking about three topics. Season 3, guys. We're in Season 3. This is pretty dope. I'm going to keep Season 3 just to one day a week, and it's going to be uploaded every Wednesday. I'm still going to stick with the 3 a.m. That seemed like it's been working out. I'll play around with the time of upload, but I'm also going to be uploading the video as well. I think doing the video along with the podcast is going to be great, so that I could have content in both places, YouTube and podcasting as well. Anyhow, let's get into this, baby. So every podcast I do now, it's going to have a combination of similar topics that I used to talk about in Season 1, Season 2. Season 3 is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to add some technology and science towards the end of it. You know, like when you watch a lot of these shows like Rachel Ray, Oprah, they stick with their niche, and there's always like a little twist at the end, especially Rachel Ray. She'll have people come in from different sectors and start talking about different topics that's relatable or maybe a little outside the box. This is kind of outside the box, but relatable in a way in terms of just being aware of where technology is going. So stuff like digital money, virtual money, cryptocurrency, whatever you want to call the asset. I'm going to be tapping into that world towards the end of each season to kind of inform you guys of where things are going, because obviously this is an asset class that's going to be, well, it's becoming mainstream since our banks here in the US can now custody your cryptocurrency. So that's pretty big. And PayPal, which in a few weeks probably will be announcing that, or I wouldn't even say announcing, because they made the announcement that they will be offering cryptocurrency to their customers. And I think they have a platform of over 300 million people. So it's a topic that I think it's definitely important. Like I said, I have my title here for this podcast is 10 Keto Foods to eat, Ramen Vegetables, and should you buy food groceries with Bitcoin? Because that's coming soon. Some places actually you can actually buy groceries or other things, but it will be a part of the lifestyle really soon. And that's like around the corner. So let's get into these topics real quick. So the top 10 healthy foods that you should be eating if you're on a keto diet. But when it comes to vegetables, any diet that you're on, try to continue to incorporate that into your lifestyle, because it's good for your gut, good for your colon, and so much more it could do for your body, such as provide you with different vitamins and minerals that you probably won't get with other foods. So mixing it all up, keeping it in rotation, it's extremely important. So the top 10 healthy foods that should be eaten on a keto diet is an article found on bodyandsoul.com.au. In the description of my podcast and my video, I'll make sure to have everything, all the links to the articles that I'm reading from, so that you can further read if you like. So the keto diet is often associated with eating large amounts of bacon and butter, but we know that's not true. But according to the keto expert, there are 10 foods that you need to be loading up on. Instead, if you really want to reap the benefits of this diet. The ketogenic diet is a diet very low in carbohydrates. I first got introduced to the ketogenic diet way back in my bodybuilding days, and that was from Frank Zane, who I got a chance to actually meet. Really cool dude. And who I also admire as well in terms of his physique and his knowledge. One of his books spoke about the ketogenic diet, and I believe he introduced the ketogenic diet into his lifestyle as well. I'm not sure when in his bodybuilding career he started the ketogenic diet, but this is something you can actually look up on your own. There was a doctor, I think he may have been friends with who he met, or he read his book and he shared in his own book, who spoke about the ketogenic diet and talked about getting your body in that ketosis state so that you can actually utilize the fat and burn it. And it creates this sort of, I guess it puts your body into this habit of always targeting fat to burn for energy. Helps you reduce your fat overall, your body, your BMI, there we go. So that you can get lean for your bodybuilding competitions and all that stuff. And many people, athletes and people that aren't athletes, are gravitating to this sort of keto diet lifestyle. And it seems like it's been working for many people. So when we eat very few carbs or very few calories, ketones are produced by the liver from fat. The ketones are are then used as a fuel throughout the body. Like I was saying, especially for the brain, which can't utilize fat directly and can only run on glucose or ketones. In a nutshell, when you're on a ketogenic diet, your body's main fuel supply is fat instead of glucose. You utilizing the fat for energy and all that good stuff. So what to eat on a ketogenic diet and how to calculate net carbs. The most important thing in researching the state of ketosis and staying in it is not having too many carbs. You'll likely need to keep carb intake under 50 grams of net carbs per day, ideally below 20 grams. If you give your body carbs, your insulin will go up and your body will use blood glucose instead of fat. When checking the carb content for US or Canadian labels, you should subtract dietary fiber from carbohydrates to get net carbs. Total carbs minus fiber equals net carbs. It's fine to work off net carbs. So the top 10 healthy foods to eat on a keto diet. We're gonna start with number 1, low carb vegetables. You can use them to replace your starchy favorites by making cauliflower rice, zucchini pasta, which are extremely popular. You could buy in your local grocer or your popular grocery stores like Whole Foods. Spinach bread, that's another one. Vegetables must remain on your menu no matter what diet you're on. They are a great source of vitamin, minerals, and fiber. You need them for a healthy gut and colon for your daily vitamin and mineral intake, which is important. Number 2, seafood. That's right. Have a good variety and lots of fatty fish such as salmon, sardines, love sardines, and make sure your seafood is always wild caught. Number 3, meat and poultry. Just 100 grams of organic liver contains 50% of your daily vitamin and mineral requirements. Always choose grass-fed. Remember that. Always choose grass-fed and make sure it's organic if available. Number 4, that's right, avocados. So if you're a guac fan, then you're doing well. You're doing it already. Avocados, they have a very low net carb count and very high potassium and fat content. Number 5, eggs. Super easy to make, absolutely delicious, very simple. Not much. You can just scramble it, throw some oil, whatever it is that you want to cook it in, right in your pan, scramble it up. Takes about less than 2 minutes. Anyway, but eggs are the perfect keto food. Why? As they have less than 1 gram carbs, 6 grams of protein. The yolks are packed with nutrients, including antioxidant. And if you didn't know this, it also contains selenium, which is anti-cancer component that's in it. Number 6, coconut and olive oil. Use olive oil for cold dishes. You could do light sautés as well. And coconut oil for cooking and bacon. Just don't go above 350. If you plan on going a little high heat, that's when you introduce stuff like avocado oil. But I wouldn't go too high with coconut oil, but you can go higher than olive oil, obviously. You don't want to create any carcinogens by cooking your oils really high. Coconut contains MCT, which are converted to ketosis more rapidly than other fats. Number 7, nuts and seeds. They are high in fat and fiber and low in carbs. Pretty straightforward. You can use them for a snack or to give your salad that nice crunch that you're always looking for. I always love crunch in my salad. You can also use any nut meal, ground nuts, to replace flour in baking. So a lot of your paleo recipes out there will fall underneath this keto protocol when it comes to baking. So you can look at keto and just pay attention to the ingredients, make sure it fits into your dietary needs. Number 8, berries. They are low in carbs and high in fiber and contains tons of antioxidant. The perfect keto sweet treat, especially when you put them into your, coconut yogurt or blend them into a coconut cream, or if you're making a smoothie. Number 9, konjac noodles. Never had them. These noodles have almost no calories. Actually, I think I know what they're talking about, but it might be called something different here. But anyway, no calories and virtually no carbs, making them the perfect keto diet. And lastly, number 10, dark chocolate and cocoa powder. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking what I'm thinking. No, you're not. It has to be high in cacao to be suitable for keto. So remember that. 100% cacao is the best, but you can start with 80% to get used to it, right? It's pretty bitter. So if you're used to that sweet taste, you may want to just slowly cut back. Don't go hardcore. Well, some people could go hardcore. I don't mind going hardcore, but some people, that might be a little too hard and it might be a smack in the face. So you don't want that. So I suggest, like they're saying here, 80%, go with 80% and scale back. A lot of people are like full on like sugar. So it's like that sweet chocolate, semi-sweet. You can start semi-sweet and get closer. Some of it is like totally sweet. Everybody's all for that sugary sweetness. But just take your time, like anything in life, slowly introduce it. No, don't go for the crazy rapid change. Could be mentally disturbing and you don't want to go through that. And, when you do stuff like that, then you find yourself cheating on your diet or just completely going in the opposite direction. But anyway, it has to be high in cacao to be suitable for keto. 100% cacao is the best, but you can start with, like I said, they said too, 80% to get used to it. It has lots of good stuff in it, such as antioxidants. So if you didn't know, cacao has antioxidant. It's only healthy in small amounts as an occasional treat. So don't go overboard like we all do. Take your time, small amounts. Let's move on. We're done with that. We're gonna get into this really fun idea. It seems like everyone is dipping their vegetables in ramen powder. So my thing with this is I've never had ramen powder, so I'm not completely sure when it comes to the sodium intake. If that's a concern of yours, always a concern of mine. I don't like to buy things high in sodium. That's a different topic, different subject. You can Google this, you can search for yourself, but I'm just sharing that with you. So if you're going out there trying this, maybe you want to try it once or twice, but I'm not sure about making it a lifestyle. Just be mindful of, and maybe there are ramen powders out there that are low in sodium. So if you're a ramen powder fan, just be mindful when you're searching for the right one for yourself. So dip vegetables into ramen powder. So lifehacker.com, skillet.lifehacker.com is where I got this article from. Seemed like it was trending. When you think of dipping foods, you probably imagine dunking them into a bowl of creamy, often umami forward dip. This is usually done to make chips even more indulging and vegetables more exciting. That's right. So probably if you're trying to get your kids to eat vegetables, you're probably adding a little dip on the side and you want them to dunk it in that dip so they can have a little bit of fun. But us adults like that fun as well. This is usually done, again, to make chips even more indulgent and vegetables more exciting, but you don't necessarily need a sour cream base to accomplish the latter. All you need is a fine, super flavorful powder that will cling to the freshly cut surface of the vegetable. All you need is, what they're saying, is that ramen powder. Dipping vegetables into dry seasoning, a version of dusting the blogger came up with on their own. Their managing editor told them they see baby carrots come with a packet of dry ranch. I don't buy baby carrots. It's funny because I actually don't. I don't look for stuff like this. I like to create a lot of my stuff on my own. I don't like packaged stuff as much. Like for the quarantine, I did some packaged pizzas if I ever get around to it as like fun food. But I actually haven't even touched it. I've just been eating a lot of vegetables, I lost like 25 pounds doing quarantine and doing my workouts. I'm actually 7 pounds away from my actual bodybuilding competition weight, about 7 or 8 pounds away from the last time I competed. And I'm not against going out there treating yourself to chips. I'm a huge fan. I love lately the Terra, the Platanos chips, the savory ones, not the sweet ones. So I'm loving that. 2 ingredients, Platanos and coconut oil. Can't beat that, right? So I've been like addicted to that. So I like the crunchiness. And actually, I should put it in salad. You break it up, put it in your salad. That could be like your croutons. So all this talk about dry, flavorful powders got me thinking about the packets of ramen seasoning sitting in my cupboard. Not mine, but theirs. I'm reading this blog that I didn't create, but I'm sharing it with you guys. I've been making a lot of cold ramen bowls. This is what they're saying, with peanut sauce, but I don't dare toss the seasoning packet that comes with the block of noodles. There we go. Those are precious. This is what they're saying. I usually sprinkle them on popcorn or French fries, which I've seen and heard it's amazing. If you're familiar with ramen seasoning, which I am, and I'm sure maybe you are or not, you can probably guess how delightful this was. The cool, crunchy, slightly sweet cucumber was a perfect foil for the intensely salty and meaty powder, which clung to the freshly cut vegetable, much like fun dipped sticks to that candy stick. The amount of powder that makes it onto your vegetable is easily to control, but keep in mind that this works best with freshly cut vegetables. Carrots, radish, scallions, half a cherry, tomatoes are all delicious here. And you're only limited by your ramen powder collection. So go out and get a whole bunch of ramen powder if you want. But I would highly suggest looking at the ingredients and all the sodium intake and sugars and all that stuff, if any. Hold on. That's a little life hacker found on skillet.lifehacker.com. Technology, we're going to dab a little bit into this whole technology world and discuss Bitcoin. That's right. Should you be buying your groceries with Bitcoin? That's interesting. A world where we are scanning our phones already in the supermarkets and not pulling out fiat money or credit cards to make a purchase, just literally taking our phones and going like this. Boop. All right, so let's get into it. So I found this on Coindesk.com. Coindesk.com is actually one of the sites that many people in the crypto world and digital virtual currency world uses to reference a lot of their stuff. So a lot of YouTubers will reference a lot of stuff from Coindesk.com. Pretty reputable website. So if you ever wanted to further read up on what's going on in this particular world, check out Coindesk.com. So on Coindesk.com here, Bitcoin is a form of money in DC, federal court rules. Pretty interesting because a couple of days ago, we had the news that came out about banks could could custody cryptocurrency. So if you have cryptocurrency and you worry about where you should leave your cryptocurrency, because it is a digital world that we live in, and there's hacks constantly happening all the time. There's hacks on banks weekly, daily. We don't just hear about it often because it will probably just freak us out and we just go crazy. So as we move into this more digital society, we have companies that have created something called the ledger. I'm trying to think of is it Nano Ledger? I don't remember the name right now off the top of my head, but basically Ledger is a small little hard drive where you can actually do your own custodying of your own cryptocurrency. So when you deal with the banks, you have more security, more regulation. It makes people feel a little more secure because of the regulation and security that the banks has already with their platform. Again, Bitcoin is a form of money in DC, federal court rules. Bitcoin is a form of money covered under the Washington, D.C. Money Transmitters Act, a federal court said on Friday last week. In case the United States v. Harmony, Chief Judge Burley Howell wrote that money is commonly means of medium of exchange, method of payment, or store of value. Bitcoin is these things, Judge Howell added, defining Bitcoin as money integral to the court's decision to not dismiss criminal charges against Larry Harmon, the operator of an unlicensed Bitcoin trading platform for laundering money under federal law. The court's comments means that Bitcoin is treated as money in the context of money transmission licensing in DC, nothing more. Bloomberg law. Bitcoin deemed money under DS Financial Services law. The virtual currency known as Bitcoin is a form of money covered under the Washington, D.C., as we discussed. The court declined to dismiss criminal charges against Larry Dean Harmony, which we covered. The ruling will likely have minimal impact on how Bitcoin is treated by the market, but establishes parameters on how the District of Columbia regulates cryptocurrency and money transmission. It also brings the DC rule in line with how federal and state authorities treat Bitcoin for the purpose of anti-money laundering purposes. It goes on to say money commonly means a medium exchange, as we know, method of payment or store of value, which we covered. Another brick, in this case, the district's definition of money under its money transmitter laws was vague, but the judge chose to rely on the common use of the term money. Just another brick in the wall for states to put more precision in how cryptocurrency like Bitcoin are treated under their statutes. Companies transacting in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency are generally required to obtain money transmission licenses from states. The Treasury Department's Financial Crimes and Enforcement Division has also deemed that money laundering using cryptocurrency tumblers and mixers, fee-based services used to mix digital assets to make them more difficult to trace back to the original holder, falls under federal money transmission laws. There's a little bit more to that article. I won't read further. I will make sure to include this in the podcast and video description for you guys to read further. Anyhow, the reason why I brought this up, the reason why I wanted to touch on this particular subject underneath technology was because we're obviously heading, especially with the whole coronavirus and COVID and what's been going on in our world and how everything has just did a 360, literally fast. And people are utilizing online services. People are utilizing many technologies now, more so than ever, especially when it comes to teaching. Remote learning and all that stuff is becoming like a big thing. And for our future, it's just going to continue to grow. And the same thing is happening in the digital space when it comes to money, digital currency, virtual currency, cryptocurrency, however you want to look at it, is going to continue to grow in this field. And one day you'll probably be seeing yourself or someone else using cryptocurrency to pay for food groceries. That's just true. I think definitely your top 5 cryptocurrencies are going to just go skyrocketing over the next few years. This decade will be the growth for digital money, the internet of value, however you want to look at it. Cryptocurrency, blockchain will be the forefront this decade currently that we're in. And if you think about the internet, when it was the dot-com era, is where I'm trying to get to, that was a time period where people were investing in a lot of these startup companies, and they became like, not all of them, there's some of them just faded away, and it was a bubble and people lost money, of course. And the same thing is going to happen in the cryptocurrency. But I think if you follow the money and you follow the topics, the subjects, or the currencies, virtual currencies that are being talked about, that's sort of like the indicator of what's happening, and where the adoption is taking place, and which currencies and stuff like that. Coindesk.com, like I said, great website. You can learn more about the whole digital asset space when it comes to buying and selling cryptocurrencies. The 2 companies that come off the top of my head, Coinbase, which I use, and Binance, which I love, but I'm in New York and I have no access to it as of yet. And hopefully that would change, because I was using it when they shut it down. US shut it down, basically. There's a few states, I'm not sure what state you're in, but check out those 2 companies. Anyhow, that's all for today. Hope you guys are doing well out there. Thanks for joining me back here on SEWCT. I'm Chef T, your host, and we just covered a lot of information, and hope you guys enjoyed it. And I will catch you guys next week. Peace out, and see you on the next one. Always remember, stay healthy. Peace.